Hello, everybody. Welcome to Homo Sapiens. This is me jiggling around. How are we all? I've got a pot of tea, as is my wont, and I've got some milk. I'm going to pour a cup of tea, and I'm going to say, hello, my name is Chris Sweeney. Welcome to Homo Sapiens. I am here to read your emails and your feedback. It's been very nice to hear from you all this past week. The inbox has been blowing up, I believe they say in Instagram parlay. Throws a chocolate button in his mouth, misses. For those on video, you saw that. Now the dog's attacking someone outside. That's really helpful. Oh, I don't know what to do about that. I'm going to let my husband sort that out. It's been a great week. We thank you all for listening to the Megan Crab episode, where we talked about the gays and Ozempic. And the body positivity movement. So many reactions. Really interesting, actually. Let's have a look. So we posted it, and so many people. So I'm just looking at the reel that we posted. If you don't follow us at Homo Sapiens on Instagram. Do follow, like, and subscribe. Spot on. Can always count on Megan to be the voice we need. Megan Crab, who co-hosted that episode, her first one. Just, what a nice person. So we're talking about Serena Williams now selling Ozempic, or a weight loss drug. I can't remember which one it is. Help. Send the lawyers. Or don't. Then someone commented, I worship the Williams sisters. Their achievements are iconic, beyond bloody amazing. When I saw that she was focusing in on weight loss a year ago also, I felt really uncomfortable. Now I feel so sad that she, the icon, has bought into having this skinny physique. It makes me feel so sad and annoyed. And then someone else said, mind-blowing, really couldn't get behind that move, i.e. Serena supporting the weight loss drugs. I heard her husband has shares in that specific brand she was advertising. We've got to keep pushing back on this messaging. I'm so pleased you're speaking on this. We're in the era of heroin chic. Then Thomas wrote in, when you put this topic up on stories, I thought that I wouldn't be as engaged as I'm not on any diet drugs. Boy, did Megan Crab deliver. It was a brilliant episode. I did a big diet during lockdown and lost about 1.5 stone, and then have been yo-yoing the weight on and off. Currently at the heavier end of the cycle, but I'm trying not to sweat it too much. It was interesting to hear you both catching yourselves around the language that has been normalised, good body, ideal body, etc. I do worry that the use of diet drugs is bringing it all back to roost and narrowing the lens on what is an acceptable look. Anyway, keep up the great work, loving the new series. Thomas, we love hearing from you. Thank you for that. This is Craig. Loving your honest convo with Megan and totally empathise with a lot of what you said re-exercising as a gay man. Been weightlifting the last 2 years and love seeing body changes, but I don't want to think I'm chasing a particular body, but keeping myself healthy into my older years. So this is because I was saying to Megan, you know, am I doing exercise because I'm trying to get, because I enjoy it, or am I doing it because I'm secretly trying to please others? The jury's still out, listeners. He says, eating a chocolate button. Back to Craig's message. I worry about people on Ozempic, etc. to be unhealthily thin without trying to understand what good nutrition is and just bouncing back when they come off the drug. For me, last 12 months I've followed the 30 plants a week mantra, which includes nuts, seeds, herbs and spices. 30 a week? So how many is that a day? 30 divided by 7, 28. That's 4 vegetables or plants a week. 4 plants a day. Is toast a plant? So I'm adding food rather than trying to remove food groups, and lost weight without being on a diet, in inverted commas. And then I love that we have better bodies in our later. So I love this, Craig. Craig was like live streaming messages as he was listening, because then he says, haha, still listening. Love that we have better bodies in our later years, fit in our 40s. I love that it's sort of like Craig's listening party. I love it. I also hated sport as a kid. Yes, Craig. But love getting really sweaty running and playing squash with mates. Squash is a nice game because it's kind of not contact as well, isn't it? It's sort of, I find there's something kind of quite understated about squash, like badminton. It's like a bit like cricket, it's sort of chic. And then Craig says, OMG, Queerlit in Manchester is amazing. Also a bar and cafe we go, have our work, LGBT group meetups there. Oh, there's a bar and a cafe there. Craig, thank you so much for that. I'm glad we're all on the same blooming page. Also, can I say that there is this thing about being fit in our 40s, and I just think we just all idolise youth too much. And I think we can be anything we want at 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, if we're lucky enough to get there. I just want to say that. Also, what I want to say is, I don't know if any of you saw this. Maybe this is my algorithm, but Greg James put this video online saying, you do not have to have children. Did you see it? It kind of went viral. Greg James is a Radio 1 presenter, and I love him. I think he's just a big-hearted soul. And really good at his job. And he was like, you don't have to have children. And more to the point, you don't have to feel bad about not having kids. And Greg James and his wife, Bella Mackie, sort of have not had kids and don't want kids. And I was really interesting to see the reaction, because I think there's a lot of pressure, but I think that's on straight cis people. And I had quite an interesting reaction to it myself, which is that I almost want to say to the LGBT community the opposite. Like, don't just opt yourself out of having kids, because actually, I think there are many ways you can do it, through adoption, through fostering, through, I think the opposite is true for queer people. That I think what Greg is talking about is how they are programmed, straight people, programmed to have children without thinking. And I actually think that we are programmed, queer people, to not have children without thinking. And if you disagree with me, please write in hello@homosapienspodcast.com. And I think that we have this thing about chosen family, which is wonderful, and I love it. But I also think that as a result of that, because we have to go and find our tribe, we are really good at nurturing, giving love, supporting, all the things that actually are required for the role of a child, for looking after a child. And I think that there is quite a lot of sort of propaganda, for want of a better, it's not propaganda, but quite a lot of what is said is that, like, having children is a nightmare and it's really hard. And I actually really want to refute that and say, I do think it's hard, but I also think it's well within our capability. And I suppose what I'm trying to say is, I actually think queer people, because of the world they've grown up in, having been slightly stacked against them, are actually brilliant parents. And I would encourage anyone to really think through the automatic assumption that you wouldn't because you're queer, because I see so many people who would be amazing. And I'm aware that a lot of people will disagree with me about that, but I feel it really strongly, and I want people to feel that. I want people to feel that, to hear a voice that says that, to help them. Not to help them, but a voice that says that to kind of counter the what's in the air, I suppose. But I will also bolt on the end of that. Neither matters, but just in terms of what Greg was saying, that's what came up for me. Now, let's have a look at the inbox. Now, there is a situation unfolding. Sourdough. Okay, people are coming for Jessie Ware about her sourdough starter. So we need to grasp the nettle here, people. Dear Chris and team, Stephen has been in touch. Dear Chris and team, so lovely to have you back. I'm the guy with the massive cellar in Hastings. Stephen, I remember you sent us pictures of your cellar. Do you remember, listeners? And it was like, there was a house, and then underneath it was 4 times another house underneath. It was beautiful. You decorated the whole place, right, Stephen? Or you were in the process of it. Can we have an update photo? Please, Stevens, please. I'm enjoying the new format. Great guests. I felt compelled to write in, given you'd named a recent episode Sourdough Shade. Well, that was Craig's fault. So glad I remain at the forefront of the zeitgeist despite my advancing years. You can find this and other teas on Etsy. And then I'll put a link in the show notes. There is an Etsy link here because Stephen makes t-shirts and they say on them, fuck you and your sourdough starter. Now, Stephen, okay, I have made Jessie Ware aware of this. And we have decided together to retaliate is a big word. Helen is the name of her sourdough starter. And we have decided that we are going to give 3 lucky winners a portion of Helen, a portion of Jessie Ware's sourdough starter. All you have to do is write a review on Apple Podcasts, and then we will go to Apple Podcasts reviews and we will read them and we will choose the winner, and each winner will get a bit of Helen, Jessie Ware's sourdough starter. Okay? That's what's happening. So that way Jessie can prove her sourdough is actually brilliant. She's really happy with Helen, and them's the breaks. So that's the update there. Other brilliant news this week. Mandami got elected in New York. Loads of you shared when we posted about that. I mean, what a joyous, joyous thing, because I know none of us live in New York. Actually, sorry, that's not true. Some of us might live in New York. Hello, New Yorkers. But it's about the beginning of a pushback to the insanity of Trump. And I think that is just really, really positive news to see someone running and winning on things that actually help people in need. Beautiful. Now, Jamie then got in touch. Chris, I heard you have a cold. In addition to Beecham's, take Covonia throat spray. It works wonders. Also, that advice wasn't prompted by this video. Oh, because I was talking in a video. You mentioned the cold on the last episode, and I'm dealing with the same, and it's a bugger. Get well soon. Jamie, we wish you well. I hope you're feeling better too. Covonia throat spray, people. Anyone else with your flu tips? Cold and flu tips, write in hello@homosapienspodcast.com. If you disagreed about my parenting thing or agreed, hello@homosapienspodcast.com. Open up, or at Homo Sapiens on Instagram. Drop us a message. So we had a flu jab because for work. So I had a flu jab for work, and then I heard that there's this new super strain going around, and apparently the flu jab doesn't stop the super strain. Does anyone else hear that? So, I'm looking forward to that coming home to roost. Jamie then said, sometimes I wonder whether you're okay with all the responsibility. You're doing a brilliant thing for all of us LGBTQ alphabet people. If there's any way in which people like me can help, just let me know. A big hug. What a lovely thing to say, Jamie. Can I just say, I don't feel any responsibility. Other than doing right by you lot. As in, I don't feel any pressure, I suppose. I feel responsibility, but I don't feel any pressure. This podcast is the most beautiful, wonderful thing I've ever done in my life. I love it. So, long may it continue. And it's a thing, I feel like it's something we make all together now. Because you guys suggest episodes and then, we execute. Just today I was putting out something about this bisexual episode for Joe Lycett. Actually, you could write in if you want me to talk about that, but you have to write in quickly because I'm going to record it with Joe tomorrow, the day after this comes out, basically. So if you have things you want to say about being bisexual, what the specific challenges have been for you, where you have found comfort or people like you, why do you think people overlook the bisexual community? Write in hello@homosapienspodcast.com and tell us what's been bad about it, what's been good about it, and where you feel things have changed as well. That would be really interesting. Alan Cumming, who hosted this show with me for a long time, he was bisexual, and we talked a lot about that. The assumption that people are gay when I even did it with a message from a few weeks ago, didn't I? I just assumed that someone was saying they were gay. They were gay, yeah. And I was like, oh no, they could actually be bisexual, this bi-erasure thing. So, let's talk about it. So write in. If you want to get that in for the discussion with Joe, you need to write now, as in Tuesday when it's come out, because I'm going to record it with Joe tomorrow, which is Wednesday. Hello, long-time listener, first-time writer. Always wanted to put that. I am bored of waiting on others and have made the decision to go on holiday on my own for the first time this summer. I want to go somewhere very queer, mainly for safety, but also because I want to be surrounded by my community. I've narrowed it down to Athens or Sitges, but would love to hear advice from others, an episode on gay solo travel. Any help is eternally, gratefully received. Much love, Peter. Peter, firstly, thank you for writing in. Delighted to hear from you. So, Athens is super gay and very cool. Sitges I've never been to, actually, but here's what we're going to do. Listeners, solo travel advice recommendations. hello@homosapienspodcast.com. Let's pull together, give Peter the greatest holiday of his life. If you've been to Athens or Sitges, open up your laptop. Right, where you went, where you stayed, what you liked about it, what you didn't. Did you feel safe being gay? Secondly, what is the safest place you've been on holiday? I'll put some stuff on socials. And do you know what we should do as well? I think let's do an episode on this. And I think the person to do that with could be Jessie Ware, because she tours the world, one. Two, she loves a holiday. She's so good at knowing where to book. With her, I'm like restaurants or holidays. She's like, do this, go there, do that. So, and a lot of her gang are queer. So I think that could be a really good person to talk to about this. Now, so let's summarize. A few bits of work for everybody. A few bits of work. We need to get in touch about this holidays business. You need to write in hello@homosapienspodcast.com or @homosapiens on Instagram. If you want to win one of Jessie Ware's sourdough starters, go to Apple Podcasts, write us a review. We will choose the best. And there will be 3 winners. We'll do it over a period of time. But open Apple Podcasts now, write a review. You've got to write a review. You can't just do the stars. You've got to write it, and then we'll see your name. You've got to put the right name in there. Oh, the Homo Sapiens All-Star superhero poster was released. And you all loved it. So we did, celebrating of being a month on air, we did this sort of, made all the co-hosts, some of the co-hosts, not all of them are in there, superheroes. And so that's on the Homo Sapiens Instagram if you want to see that. It looked really cool, got a really good reaction. And I love the idea of this sort of merry band of queer superheroes coming together and pulling together and sort of having conversations that matter to all of us. That's the thing that I love about this series. It feels like you guys are guiding it. You guys are saying what you want us to talk about, and then people are contributing, and it's bringing up so many amazing things for all of us. So yeah, very exciting. So that's it for this here Tuesday. Is it raining where you are? It's raining here. hello@homosapienspodcast.com, @homosapiens on Instagram. Do stay in touch. Sending you loads of love, listeners. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.